Journalists and commentators are so overwrought about the new president-elect that they are going just way over the line, suffering from what I call Trump trauma. Michael Hirsch, national editor of Politico, actually called for violence against a white nationalist leader who strongly supports Donald Trump. Hirsch tweeted this: "Stop whining about Richard B. Spencer, Nazi, and exercise your rights as decent Americans. Here are his 2 addresses. And he lives part of the time next door to me in Arlington. Our grandfathers brought baseball bats to Bund meetings. Want to join me?" Hirsch has now been forced out of his job, with Politico's 2 top editors saying these posts were clearly outside the bounds of acceptable discourse, and Politico editors regard them as a serious lapse of newsroom standards. They crossed the line in ways that the publication will not defend, and editors are taking steps to ensure that such a lapse does not occur again. Howard Dean, the former governor and presidential candidate turned MSNBC pundit, also invoked the Hitler regime. He was talking about Steve Bannon, the ex-Breitbart executive who's heading for a top White House post.
And then the senior advisor is a Nazi.
Steve Bannon, who ran something called Breitbart News. You know, when people like to throw around this word Nazi, it's a pretty big word.
It's a big word, and I don't usually use it unless somebody's really anti-Semitic, really misogynist.
You really believe he's that?
It's fine to criticize Bannon over Breitbart's incendiary writings, but can we please cool it on the Nazi stuff? And that's not the only loaded word being unleashed against Bannon. CNN online contributor Charles Kaiser said this about Steve Bannon.
And then, you know, if you don't want to support the alt-right, don't choose as a White House counselor a man who uses the word whose wife says that he did not want his daughters to go to a school with too many Jews.
Charles, just hang on a second. I appreciate you going through all of this, but please don't use the N-word on my show.
I'm sorry.
Good for Brooke Baldwin. And Kaiser was flat wrong on the first part. He admitted to the Washington Post he didn't mean Bannon, but Attorney General nominee Jeff Sessions. The senator denied using the N-word, which he's alleged to have uttered 35 years ago. Kaiser just stated it as fact. Keith Olbermann, you'll recall, was an uber-liberal voice on MSNBC, but now making videos for GQ, he is apoplectic about Trump and such advisors as Kellyanne Conway, who had castigated Harry Reid for trashing Trump's election.
And the CNN headline after it actually reads, "Conway-Reid trade barbs over Trump," as if criticism and threats against the First Amendment are somehow equivalent, and the pretending escalates.
Oh, and Olbermann tweeted, "What a wretched human Kellyanne Conway truly is. Leave our country, fascist." Fascist? Leave our country? Seriously? Kellyanne is a respected professional in the political world and happens to be a nice person, but none of that matters for those in the media world suffering from Trump trauma. Coming up, Tucker Carlson on how the journalistic botching of the campaign has fueled what he calls the rise of the irresponsible media, and later, why Twitter is struggling despite its starring role in the election and nobody wants to buy it.